Hello guys, welcome to PowerPoint Skills. Today we'll be creating this beautiful and vibrant presentation slide all from scratch. I'm sure it'll stun everyone in your audience with its fluent animations and vivid colors. It might look difficult, but it's really not. Within minutes, you'll be able to do it yourself and make it about any topic you're working on. Let's begin right away. We kind of have 5 layers to add to our slide: the background, our title, the herbals, the leaves, and of course the animations. Don't worry, we'll go step by step, beginning with the background. Now that we're in PowerPoint, in the toolbar, click Layout and Blank to start with a clean sheet. Next, tap on Insert, Shapes, and select the rectangle. Drag it all across the slide. Under Shape Outline, click No Outline because we don't really need it. If you want to use the same colors as I'm using right here, I've dropped my color palette into a link in the description, so feel free to copy and paste it onto your own slide. I'm also pasting the palette, and I'm gonna move it a bit to the top. Okay, so under Shape Fill, select Eyedropper, and just click on the square with the color you need. It's super simple. What you're gonna do now is click Insert, Shapes, and select this thing called the curve. Just click on a few random places, and then join the line to where it began, and you'll have this weird blob. And it's exactly what you want. Stretch it around, and if you don't like the way it looks, under Shape Format, click Edit Shape and Edit Points. Here, you can adjust every one of them until it looks just right to you. When you're done, delete its outline and fill it with the slightly lighter purple in the palette. Now we're getting to the blue part of it. Again, add a rectangle which you can stretch all the way. And just as last time, add a few more of those blobs using the Curve tool. Remember, the blobs will become holes, so add one which is large for the title, and a few more, just for fun. I am turning them yellow just so I can see them better. And of course, you can still edit the individual points by clicking Edit Shape and Edit Points. Now that my 3 are done, I'm holding Shift and I'm selecting them all together with the blue rectangle. Now click Merge Shapes and Fragment. This is going to break up the shapes like a piece of glass. What you want to do now is delete all the parts which you don't want, so the ones outside the slide as well as the holes in the middle. Under Shape Fill, click Gradient and More Gradients. In this panel that pops up, again click Gradient Fill. And if you select the eyedropper, you can set the first color to this lighter blue. You can basically delete the gradient point in the middle. And I dropped the second one as well to this darker blue. Now, in this panel, click here and under Shadow, select this middle preset and adjust the size to 100%, transparency to around 30%, and this is important, its color needs to be dark blue, not black. As the last step, set the blur to maximum, and this is going to create this really cool 3D effect that adds a fair amount of depth. Now let's add our title. Click Insert, Text Box, and type in whatever your presentation is about. I'm using the Sarah Pro font. You can download it as well through a link in the description below. I'm also making it bold. Size it up so it fits into the opening, and in the panel, click Text Options, then Effects, and add a shadow very similar to the one of the blue backdrop. The only difference is now, you can play with the distance of the shadow, so the title looks like it's floating above its background. Oh, and don't forget to make the shadow dark blue. When you're done, right-click on the blue rectangle and tap Bring to Front. Now the text is behind it. For the subtitle, I'm adding this particular triangle to give it a bit more emphasis. And if I click on Shape Fill and More Colors, I can pick a really vivid green to make it shine. Now, you can type in your subtitle. I'm using the Sarah Pro Light font, by the way, and kind of move it around so it looks okay. As the last step, holding Shift, I select both the text and the triangle, right-click, and tap Group and Group. And again, under Text Options, I'm adding a gentle shadow so it sticks out more. Great, moving on to the bubbles. Click Insert, Shapes, and select the oval. If you hold Shift, it's always going to be a perfect circle. Get rid of its outline, and if you still have this panel opened, you can tap on Gradient Fill right away. You'll notice that the palette has 3 colors for the bubble, so click on the color bar to add another one, and you know the rest. I drop all the 3 colors onto your gradient. Or, if you want, you can do this with your own colors, it's entirely up to you. And, just as with the title, add a dark blue shadow with quite some distance so it looks like it's floating around freely. When you're done, press Ctrl+D to duplicate the bubble, and do this a few times until it looks good to you. I'm just randomly placing mine all over the place. Now to the leaves. No matter how interesting they are, I feel like showing you how to make them is a topic for a whole another video, so this time you can just copy and paste some variations I created for you from a link in the description. So, when you're finished positioning the leaves, hold Shift and select the bubbles, the subtitle, and the blue backdrop. Then right-click and tap Bring to Front. Now it all looks phenomenal. Now let's talk about the animations. It would be nice for the text to glide in slowly, like this, so for that, you can move these two a bit to the right, basically where we want them to begin. Before we start, under Animations, click to display the animation pane. Over here, we will have a nice summary of all of them. Select the title and tap Add Animation and Fade. Now click Add Animation one more time, and down over here in Motion Paths, select Lines. Under Effect Options, tap Left. It's going a bit too far, and so hold Shift and adjust how far you want it to travel. Double click here and set the Smooth End slider all the way to the right. Also, click on this arrow and select Start with Previous. Great. Now click on the Animation Painter and transfer this animation from the title to the subtitle. Make sure that these two also start with Previous. Now, go to Effect Options, Timing, and we can set a slight delay of like 0.3 seconds. Nice. Concerning the bubbles, tap on Add Animation again, and also click Fade. Double-click the animation, select Timing, make it start with Previous, and set its duration to be something like 0.3 seconds. But we also need it to bounce. I'm solving this by adding a Grow Shrink animation. Double-click it, and under Size, type 101%. Also, drag the bounce end to the max. More like it. Click on the right arrow, make it start with Previous, and lastly, using the Animation Painter, copy the animation of the first bubble to all the remaining ones, one by one. Now click on the first bubble, the right arrow, Timing, and I'm setting the delay to around 0.5 seconds. Repeat the same thing with another bubble, but this time make its delay 0.2 seconds longer, so in this case 0.7, and so on. And do this for every single bubble. Guys, from this point onward, you basically have the knowledge to make any other slide you want, so I'm gonna be brief. Of course, your topic might require a slightly different layout from the sample one, but take this as an inspiration. So, what you want to do is create a new slide, add a rectangle, drag it all across, delete the outline, and fill it with the same gradient from the first slide, but reversed, so the darker blue is on the left this time. Then you basically shape another one of those blobs like this and merge the shapes as fragment. Delete the parts you don't need, fill this with the gradient again, and put some purple underneath. You can even copy some bubbles from slide 1 and put them here. When you're working with a picture, I recommend going to Picture Format, Crop, Aspect Ratio, and 1:1. Then crop again and crop to shape. Select the oval and it's gonna look really cool as a circle. Place some of the bubbles in front and some behind the image so it looks like this bubble cluster. To insert all your text, just tap on Insert and Text Box. Using the same font, I'm typing my title and general statement. A thing you can do is go to Text Options and adjust the transparency of the words to make them a little less distracting. And for the title, I'm going to Text Options and adding another one of those shadows, you know the drill. For the icons and circles, just add a shape like this, delete its outline, click on Gradient Fill, adjust the angle to around 40 degrees, and make both your colors very, very light blue. The trick is, make one 100% transparent and the other 60% transparent. Add whatever label you're working with, and let's add some actual icons. What I always do is go on iconarchive.com and simply copy one of their pictures into my presentation, like this leaf. To make it white, go to Picture Format, Corrections, Picture Correction Options, and set the contrast to minimum. Then tap on Color and select this pure white. Now just fit it in so it all looks good to you, and do it for all your bullet points. Remember to select all the items in one of them, right-click, and select Group and Group, and do this with the rest as well. When you're finished, hold Shift and select everything in the order that you want it to appear in. Then, under Animations, click Add Animation and Fade. When you open the animation pane, set some of them to start after previous and some on a click, depending on how you want them to enter. And as the very last thing, click on Transitions and select Push. Then, under Effect Options, select From Right. How smooth! And that concludes the tutorial. I really hope you learned a lot and created your own masterpiece to show to your audience. Be sure to subscribe to PowerPoint Skills for more videos or follow my Instagram account. Thanks for watching.